I'll say probably like at the age of 4 or 5, I really became conscious and aware of my surroundings. And
Mm.
without the proper guidance, I became a negative product of my environment. Because see, you can become a positive or negative product of your environment. It doesn't have you don't have to be a negative a product. So with me, watching my mother and my father grow up in the drug trade, I was never allowed to do certain different things or be around certain different things, but I always saw it. And this is one of the things that you must understand, that the greatest example that you can give a child is by showing them something positive that they can do, because you can tell them one thing and show them another thing. And in most cases, they're going to do what you're showing them. So that's what happened in my case as well. I grew up
Wow.
in the drug
So,
trade. My mother and my father, they ran the city, and being a byproduct of that, I took on those traits. But my mother raised me and my sisters in church as well. But on the other side of that church door was the streets, and those streets are what really mesmerized and entangled me, and drew me to, the drug trade as far as me getting into it. So I'll say, by the time I was 11 or 12, my mother had went to prison. So I was left out in the streets with my sisters and my brother, and they were a few years older than me, but they were still children at heart as well. But they had to take care of me and my other siblings. So as time grew, as time went on, I began to do the things that my mother and my father used to do in my mother's absence. So,
wow.
with such a strong passion for the things that I was doing, I basically like took on the role of my mother and my father, and I began to run the city. And I'll say by the time I was 16, I was a millionaire, um,
Mm.
a boy in a man's shoes without a lack of understanding. I used to travel to many different cities, many different states, and cause havoc as a young man without the proper direction. And that's one of the things that I've always held on to, and I always try to teach people. Without the proper guidance and direction, you're sure to end up in some dark places.